All right, we are live on YouTube, and today I'm going to be discussing the new YouTube guidelines and why I completely agree with them and support them. So stick around for all of that and much, much more that's coming right up. Live from Northern California, welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And if this is your first time here, please consider subscribing and then banging that bell. And after you bang that bell, if that pop-up box pops up, please make sure you select all notifications, because that way you won't miss a single thing. You won't miss anything when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. And also make sure that on your mobile device, your tablet or your smartphone, that you have the YouTube app set to receive notifications. All of those things are crucial if you want to get notified right away, the very moment when your favorite content creators go live or they release or publish, another way to say it, a new pre-recorded video. All right. Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome. First and foremost, I want to apologize for not going live last night after I promised I would. I want to make you folks aware once again of what's been going on with me lately. I'm totally healthy. I'm all good. But this year has been probably the worst year regarding allergies for me. I've been suffering from a tremendous level of sinus pressure and allergic reactions because I've been doing more hiking than ever. I've always hiked throughout my entire life, but in the past I would hike once per month, maybe once every couple of weeks or so. But for the past, I would say maybe 9 months to a year or so, I've been hiking pretty much every weekend, and typically 2 days of the weekend, meaning that on Saturdays and Sundays I go hiking. So I go hiking about 6 to 8 times per month, and I do long hikes. I don't do short hikes. I do a minimum of 4 to 5 miles, and most of them are around 10 to 15 miles. So you're out in the woods, and there's a lot of shit out there. Well, it's natural shit, but a lot of it creates allergic reactions, and you get allergies, and then you get sinus pressure, and you get all that shit. So it hit me pretty hard yesterday to the point of where I just needed to rest. I took an Epsom salt bath, took my walk at the park, and I just wasn't feeling up to streaming last night. And until I completely clear what I have right now, basically what's been going on with me, every so often when I get it really bad, I get clogged ears. I don't know if you folks have ever had the clogged ear syndrome, where you get mucus that gets stuck in your middle ear, on your left and your right ear, and it basically reduces your hearing to about 50% or less. You're not deaf. It's just that the allergies cause that, and that's what's going on with me right now. And until my ears fully pop, there's a lot of sinus pressure that's built up there, and I'm taking medication, and it is definitely helping. But you just have to let this stuff clear naturally. The medication will temporarily relieve the syndromes, the symptoms, and over the course of time, it will just flush itself out of your system. So I'm okay, folks. I'm doing quite well. But for those of you that have had allergies, especially those of you that, spend time in the woods, going hiking, going mountain biking, etc., you understand where I'm coming from. So I'm not sick all the time. A lot of people in the past used to say, well, Eli is sick all the time. There's something wrong with that guy. Well, maybe I'm a little sick in the head. No, just kidding. There's a difference between mental sickness and, physical sickness and emotional sickness as well. But I think you folks get the hint there. So my apologies for that. In the meantime, until this completely clears out and my ears pop, I'm going to be doing 1 stream per day. Once it clears up, I'll be doing 2 to 3 a day, like I had promised in the past. I love being out here and helping you folks and supporting you folks in any way possible. So anyway, let's see. Welcome Okay. Moderators, first and foremost, I want to make it very clear to you folks, including other people that have recently moderated, like Lucy, Franzese, and others. Please do not spite ban people on my channel. I've been informed behind the scenes that James Brophy has been banned, and I'm going to go into my ban list right now and unban him. I actually know James Brophy. He's a real person behind the scenes, and I would appreciate you folks not banning him. He's actually been very supportive of the show. Also known as BBB, for those of you that know what BBB stands for. But I'm going to go in right now and check this out. And there he is. And I'm sure it was probably you, Lucy Franzese, that banned James Brophy. Please do not ban him. He's actually somebody that I know. I know you didn't know that, and maybe you were assuming that he was doing something wrong, but he's actually very supportive, and he's been following me for quite some time, stemming back to my former channel that I shut down almost a year ago. So yeah, James Brophy, you are unbanned. If you want to come back under your James Brophy account, feel free to do so. And if you do get banned again, I will see it in the chat. And if I don't see it, just message me behind the scenes, or have somebody message me. James Brophy likes to use a third-party messenger, like most other people do that communicate with me out here on YouTube for certain reasons. So you gotta love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. But anyway, Crazy Chick Sheena, I never said you banned him. Why would you even say that? I'm just making a broad statement. Unless I, mention your name and say I think you banned him, there's no reason why you should feel that way. But I know you're a good lady, Sheena, and you got emotions, and I understand that, and you just don't want to do anything wrong. I get it. But yeah, if I don't mention your name, I'm just speaking in general, sending out some, rules every so often that I would appreciate my moderators, use those rules to make better moderation decisions. And if you make a mistake, no big deal. We can always unban the people. It's not that big of a freaking deal. So anyway, I'm just getting a lot of messages behind the scenes. Okay, I got your message behind the scenes, Lauren. And I mean, if you're saying that blue wrench is being used for something, I haven't seen it being used for anything. And I will reach out to that person and ask them why people would be saying this, okay? Like, I really don't want to deal with this women's drama, Lauren, to be honest with you. I don't want to deal with it. If I give somebody moderator access and then they come in and sabotage my channel, then it was just meant to be. I'll fix it and then I'll remove them. But I don't want to sit there and remove somebody and then cause issues for someone that has not actually ever done anything wrong to me on my channel, despite what's happened within this women's drama sphere. And the bottom line, let me just address that very briefly before we get to the topic here. A lot of ladies from the women's drama sphere that I banned, and I actually unbanned you ladies on my channel, and even some of you on Hangouts. You've been messaging me behind the scenes, asking me to apologize for certain things. I'm not going to apologize for shit. You ladies just need to learn how to ignore stuff. Even stuff that I say, if it bothers you, just ignore it. The more that you reach out to me and the more that you feed into it, and then you go do your streams on it, you're feeding into the whole thing. You're feeding into me. You're feeding into the other side. And it just keeps the back and forth going. So why not just ignore it? Why not just ignore it? Okay? And Lauren, what's happening right now, because you're a moderator here, Brutally Lauren, is that all of these women within this drama sphere are using you to get through to me. Like, you're practically the only one that I'm still talking to, and maybe a few others, through that have been somewhat involved in the women's drama sphere. I know you're not contributing to the drama, but you're involved with those women and they talk with you. So Lauren, I do not want these people. Lauren, I have to mention you because it's horseshit. The bottom line is, Lauren, I know you're listening right now and you're watching. is that I'm not going to let these people use you as the communication line to try to get through to me. This is what these women want. They want to have somebody that can continue sending me messages. Okay, someone that has a mod reg on your channel is going to sabotage your channel. If that person sabotages my channel, so be the fuck it. I'll deal with it at that time. I just don't want to hear any more women's drama sphere shit at all. I'm done with it. If something happens to my channel because I've trusted one or two people from that group, and those are the two people that have been banned, like I trust you with a mod wrench, Lauren. If something happens, I'll deal with it at that point. And that's as far as this goes. I had to mention you, Lauren, because I do not want any people out there from either side of the women's drama sphere to try to use Lauren to get a message through to me to try to get more interaction. I've already said more about this than I should. So I'm just saying, hey, drop it. Let's move forward. Lauren, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're a moderator. And I thank you for supporting the show, okay? And Lauren, at some point, maybe over the next week or so, whenever you're free, we should definitely, catch up and do a one-on-one live on the air. Maybe once on your channel, maybe once on my channel, or both. We can do that. But Lauren, I got your back. Don't worry about it. I just think these people are using you to get to me. And I just don't want to give them that option. So that's why I'm saying, please, if they reach out to you regarding something about me that's negative, just ignore it, and if something goes wrong, I will handle it at that point. It's not that difficult to fix things out here. So anyway. All right, enough said about that. We've got 27 in the box. Thank you very much for being here. Samisha Walters, I don't want to hear about that crap. I'm going to go ahead and delete that message. I don't want to hear about any videos that anyone is creating about me, whether they're on YouTube or off of YouTube. If you continue doing it, you will get banned. So, Samisha Walters, I think you are a troll account. If you can, moderators, watch Samisha Walters. If she continues to mention that shit or is out of line, just ban her without notice. Okay, mods, I do not want anybody making the chat aware of any videos or anything that other people are doing to me behind the scenes. These people are just bored, crazy, lonely people that are trying to become relevant, and all they want is my attention to feed into them. That's a troll, Eli. Well, then I guess what? If you say it's a troll, we're gonna get rid of Samisha Walters. If they keep coming back, Sheena, please ban them. Lauren says, I'm listening but doing some stuff. No problem, Lauren. Thank you for being here. Brunette Girl 25, thank you for being here. Let's see. Rad Panda, thank you for being here. Becky Barton, welcome to the show. I think I already got Crazy Chick Sheena. 8-Bit Reactor, welcome to the show. Blue Collar Millionaire, living life like a king. I'm assuming that you're BBB, Blue Ball Brandon. Your other account's unbanned. So, James Brophy, right? You want to come back under James Brophy? Feel free to do so. Thank you so much for being here today. All right. So I got the women's drama sphere stuff out of the way. Yeah, it's nice to have you back, James Brophy. Welcome back. Yeah, I think Lucy Franzese spite banned you. And I like Lucy. He's a good guy, but sometimes, he doesn't understand the banter you and I have had for the last year or two, James Brophy. So, I don't see him here right now. Maybe he's listening behind the scenes, but Lucy, if you hear this on the replay or you're actually here and not chatting, don't spite ban people. Just, if you have any questions, make sure that you just, you ask me. If it's something blatant that anyone would get banned for, go ahead and do it. If a mistake is made, I'll handle it, behind the scenes. But yeah, no spite banning, folks. No spite banning. Okay. Welcome, Mrs. Cobb, to the show. Thank you for being here. Okay, folks. So, I wanted to do this topic regarding the new YouTube guidelines for quite some time. I don't think Lucy banned anyone. Then who would have banned James Brophy? It wasn't me. Who would have banned James Brophy? It wasn't Nightbot. Yeah, Lauren, that's your opinion. I think it was Lucy Franzese. So anyway, yeah, Lauren, just don't worry about it. God dang it, ladies. You ladies worry about this shit too much. Let's move on with the show. The Midnight Raven's in the house. Midnight Raven! Welcome to the show, girl. I see you've been doing a lot of premiere videos lately. Keep up the great work, Midnight Raven. You're doing fantastic. Evening all. Can't stay long, but dropping by. Well, thank you for stopping by. Midnight Raven, at some point, we got to do that interview. And say hello to your son for me. We haven't seen him around here in quite some time. Nightbot is a bad dude. No, Nightbot's protecting the channel. Nightbot also shares my donation link every 6 minutes, which, by the way, folks, if you'd like to donate to the channel to help support this channel move forward, Nightbot will be sharing my link every 6 minutes. You can scroll up to the last time that Nightbot posted. You can make a donation in any amount based on the value you feel you're receiving. PayPal.me/Coach Eli. You can make a donation in any amount. Like I said, you can also attach a note, message, however you want to call it, of any length, and I'll read that live on the air. Unless within that message you state that you want to remain anonymous, I will completely, respect and honor that. Your privacy is respected here. I do not dox anybody. Finally, donations are greatly appreciated, but not required. But I will let you folks know that it is a sole method of income that this channel is making for the time being. So please take that into consideration. If you have a few extra dollars, or if you have more to donate and you want to help this channel move forward, please feel free to donate. Yeah, Lauren, Nightbot sent nudies to me behind the scenes. Well, that's a great joke there, Mrs. Cock. I could definitely take a joke. Nightbot would not do that. You can't even program Nightbot to do that if you wanted Nightbot to do that. Anyway, so let's get right to it, folks. The title of this stream is I fully support YouTube's new guidelines. Here's why. And then in parentheses, I put, join me live on Hangouts and give your opinion. I'm going to state a few things here, folks. And in the meantime, I'm going to ask anybody out there that would like to join me live on the air on Google Hangouts. Let me know. Send me a Hangouts chat message or type in the chat if you're not connected with me on Hangouts, and I'll get you on. Again, like I've been mentioning all along, even though YouTube and Google shut down Hangouts on air within YouTube, where you can stream directly from Hangouts. It was shut down on August 1st. I'm still able to import and use the consumer version of Hangouts within OBS at hangouts.google.com. The Hangouts app on your phone still works the same way. So nothing new here, folks. So when I say join me live on Hangouts and give your opinion, nothing has changed here on my end, even though Hangouts on air within YouTube's live streaming settings has been shut down since several days ago on August 1st. So you want to join me on the panel to express your opinions regarding this? I would love to hear it, but I'm going to start off by stating mine first, because I got to tell you folks, I'm pretty tired of this crap. I'm pretty tired of this crap. Give me a second to clear my throat. Excuse me. Damn sinuses, man. Damn allergies. I gotta tell you, man. I hate this shit, man. Allergies suck ass, let me tell you. And I'm not gonna stop hiking just so I don't get hit as hard by allergies. But let me tell you what I'm disappointed at the most. I was thinking about this and thinking about what's really happening compared to what people are saying out here on YouTube. Such as many conservative channels have been saying that YouTube is targeting us and striking us down and shutting down our channels for, conservative speak. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. That's a bunch of horse shit. And I'll share my opinions here in just a second. But I will tell you folks, that, the amount of, and how was I going to word this? Let me get my words back here, because I really thought this very, very deeply. Okay. The amount of racial profiling out here on YouTube has been ridiculous. And the amount of stereotyping has been ridiculous. Racial profiling and stereotyping are two things that I take very seriously. Number one, I'm not a racist and I don't profile people based on their race. And number two, I don't stereotype, such as I feel many conservative channels are stereotyping towards YouTube, saying that YouTube has the leftist agenda and is shutting down right-wing channels for having conservative speak. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. That's the furthest thing from the truth. And Crazy Chick Sheena says, I agree, Eli, I'm conservative. And I'm liberal. But see, you're, like I said before, Sheena, you're not an extremist, and neither am I. Like, I'm slightly more to the left, you're slightly more to the right. But we're not extremists. What you and I feel is the need to do what's right for everybody, regardless of your race, sex, national origin, etc. We don't have to go through the whole spiel regarding, civil rights and all that shit, right? Regarding discrimination, okay? And I honestly just feel that many of these channels out there that are primarily right-winged extremist conservative channels, are doing these types of things that YouTube doesn't want anyone to do, whether you're on the left or the right, and whether you're extreme or not extreme. There's a lot of racial profiling going on. There's a lot of stereotyping going on. And I'll be honest with you, it doesn't matter, whether you're liberal or conservative or you're extremist or not. Racial profiling is racial profiling, and stereotyping is stereotyping. Now, in the past when I was younger, not knowing what I know today and not being as mature as I am today, did I contribute to racial profiling, and did I stereotype a lot? Absolutely. But I feel stupid about that. I feel terrible about that because that's not the kind of person I am. The reason why I did it back in those days when I was younger is because it was funny. It was a joke. And what I didn't realize when I was doing is that I was really hurting many friends I had that were a part of that racial profile or stereotype. I've had a lot of friends growing up. I went to private school, but I had African American friends, I had Asian friends, I had Hispanic friends, and I'm a white dude, right? And you know what? We all crack jokes, but many of us, when we were younger, especially the guys, we would do these racial profiling jokes that we meant no harm by them, but that doesn't make it right. Paul Bear Bryant, hello, Coach. Roll Tide. Keep an eye on Paul Bear Bryant moderators, because any account like that with no picture and a new account, it's 99% troll. Don't ban them quite yet, but please, moderators, keep an eye on them because we're going to get trolls here today. So as I got older, I started to realize that, even saying these racial profiling jokes as a joke is not right. Stereotyping is not right. And that is the reason why I feel the right-wing conservative extremist channels, primarily the ones that are run by Caucasian men, they are the ones that are being stricken down with community guidelines such as hate speech and vulgar language, inappropriate content, spam, and deceptive practices, etc. Right? It's the right-wing extremist channels, like I said, primarily run by Caucasian men that are pushing the boundaries, and they're not even realizing the boundaries they're pushing. What they're thinking is that what they're saying is a part of their freedom of speech. And what they're also saying is that all we're doing is covering the news and telling the public, the truth about what's happening, unlike the mainstream media that is holding back certain aspects. And some of these channels think they're being shut down for those reasons, or being stricken down for those reasons. No, you're not being stricken down for those reasons. You're being stricken down for racial profiling, and you're also being stricken down for stereotyping. And I don't care if I'm on the left or the right. I don't think stereotyping is right, and I don't think racial profiling is right. The bottom line, folks, is that we are all people any way you look at us. Whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, male, female, gay, straight, lesbian, bi, trans, doesn't matter who you are. You're a human being. We're all human beings. Okay, yes, we have different ethnicities, etc. Okay, but we're still all human beings. And all of us are capable of doing bad and good. Most of us choose to do good. Some of us choose to do bad. An example, those mass shootings that happened recently, okay? Those were bad things that happened. I heard through some creators that they were saying, the reason why these guys went on this mass shooting rage is because they are registered Democrats. They're liberals. So in essence, what these conservative content creators are saying is that conservative people are not capable of doing that. We wouldn't do that. These are the liberals, right? Okay? And a lot of these people call them liberal sacks of shit, right? And I've been called that before as well. But that's the furthest thing from the truth. That is called stereotyping. What those creators that are saying that, well, the reason why these mass shootings happen is because these people are registered Democrats, that is stereotyping. Okay? Not racial profiling, that's stereotyping, saying that because they're on the left, they're more capable of doing that than people on the right. That's a bunch of hogwash. I'm very, very sick and tired of people out here on YouTube complaining at the new rules YouTube is putting out to stop the hate, to stop the racial profiling, to stop the discrimination, to stop the bullying and harassment, okay? To stop the stereotyping. I'll tell you from personal experience, folks, being a part of the MGTOW manosphere in the past for like the last 2 to almost 3 years. Most of the men that I encountered within that community were right-wing extremists, right-wing Caucasian extremists. Okay? I'm not stereotyping or profiling at all. I'm stating the facts of what happened. So these men that came at me pretty hard from that community were right-wing extremist Caucasian males. And they basically made my life miserable. They attacked me because I'm a liberal. That's a stereotype. And a lot of these men on many of those streams that I used to participate on, they were racial profiling. Even if they were joking about it for a joke, it's not a funny thing. Even when you joke, even when you make a racist joke, you're profiling, you're racial profiling. It's not right. It's absolutely not right. And I think when you have content creators that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s that should be mature enough to not behave in that way and react in that way, it just bothers me that much more. And that's why, few weeks back, I started the hashtag no bullying campaign because I'm tired of it. No bullying, no hate. Create, not hate. Like Grady Monster belongs to a group out here on YouTube called hashtag create, not hate. It's a great group. Mr. Ka is a wonderful man, Eli. Well, Mr. Ka has come at me pretty hard, bro. And who knows, maybe one day I can welcome him back, but I don't think he's going to change his ways for me. You know, Mrs. Ka has been reasonable, so we brought her back. But I don't know why you decided to mention Mr. Ka out of the blue trim hits. So anyway, let me know if anyone wants to join me live on the air and we can talk about this. I plan on being on the air until about 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. So got about another 2 hours and 14 minutes. If nobody wants to come on, then I'll run this show another 15, 30 minutes, say what I got to say, make it more of a short video, and then come back tomorrow for another show. But if you folks want to come on and you have your opinions that you want to share live on the air on Hangouts, let me know right now so I can start bringing you on. Frostwolf Studios, you want to come on the show for a little bit and state your opinion about this? Let me know. Frostwolf says racial profiling is patently illegal, violating the U.S. Constitution's core promises of equal protection under the law to all and freedom from unreasonable searches and seizures. Trim Hit says, I am random. I'm assuming that's a Trim Hits troll. You know what? That could be Marcel Harding, because he's the only one that says is a wonderful man to anyone. Marcel, did you create a Trim Hits stock account? Or is that you, Trim, just trying to throw us all off here? Now, another thing. Hang on. James Brophy says, Assistly 810 just said, leave his guns alone. They never hurt anyone. It's me. Okay, yeah, no worries, Trim. It's all good. It's all good, man. Frostwolf says, just as importantly, racial profiling is ineffective. It alienates communities from law enforcement, hinders community policing efforts, and causes law enforcement to lose credibility and trust. Absolutely. Frostwolf, can you please come on for just a little bit and let's talk about this? If 8-Bit Reactor is around, let me know. You know, I wouldn't even have a problem if JB Gunner wanted to come on and talk about this, because I know he's been talking about this stuff on his channel. And just to make it very clear, JB and everyone else, I'm not doing this in response to what you've been talking about, JB. You're not the only one that's been talking about this. There are many, many conservative, Caucasian, right-wing extremist content creators out there that have been discussing this, and they're disgusted by what they feel is an attack from YouTube, which actually, in my opinion, it is not an attack from YouTube. No, it's me. Mr. Ka is a scholar and a gentleman. All right. And James Brophy says, cupcakes and firearms. What more does a man need? Yeah, so Frostwolf, let me know if you want to come on and join us on the show. Yeah, it is Trim just being silly, Mrs. Ka. No worries. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Let's see here. So another thing I wanted to mention was, Donald Trump and how he's been handling all of this. And this is just my opinion. I'm not here to attack the president or say anything bad. All I'm going to come out and say is that I'm very disappointed. Number one, most people know I'm a liberal. I'm slightly on the left, so I did not vote for Donald Trump. And more than likely I will not be voting for Donald Trump in 2020. I don't know who I'm going to vote for. I don't even know what's going to happen. This is going to be probably one of the most interesting and fascinating elections that we've ever had in the history of our country here in the U.S. But even many conservatives, including JB Gunner, and I'm only mentioning you, JB, because I really like how you presented your streams. You have your opinions, JB, and whether I agree with it or not, I respect your opinion, and it's, you put it out there in a way that makes sense for you and how you feel. But even JB Gunner and many other conservative channels, they are not happy with the way the president has been handling these things lately. And it just saddens me. It saddens me when you have the commander-in-chief that has all these major issues, and the way that he did his speech the other day almost kind of made it appear like he didn't care. You're right about that, JB. JB did show that speech, or that address, that public address, on his channel under fair use on his morning coffee earlier today. Okay, fantastic. Excellent, bro. I'm going to send you the link right now. Thank you, Frost, for telling me to check Hangouts. And, bro, you got the link. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the quad screen. How do you folks like this nice YouTube background here? This is on the YouTube campus, but with an added little screen there, little board. Let's go over to the quad screen here as Frost Wolf will be joining us momentarily. All right, and it looks like Frost Wolf Studios in the house. Hey, Frost, how you doing, man?
Hey, Eli, what's up?
Oh, not a whole heck of a lot, bro. Just trying to, bring people down to reality regarding this stupid stuff that's been happening lately out here on YouTube, where, a lot of people have been attacking YouTube for the way that they're running their platform. And a lot of things that have been happening in our country. I know you're in the U.S. as well here with me. Just the way that these shootings are being handled, at a government level, especially by the president. I mean, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm not sitting here and attacking anybody. And, I think I'm just stating a very civil opinion here. I'm just saddened by the whole thing, bro. I'm just really saddened that our country has turned out to be this way. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I just, I'm just, say, regarding the YouTube thing, say, YouTube is, changing these things to, for one reason, the reason why Google Hangouts on air is gone is because for myself, I've seen people use that,
and abuse
to
it.
bully people, to belittle people, and it's happened to me. I've had people attack me, talking about me on a panel before, and I think YouTube did the right thing by doing that. That's why most of these people are pissed off, is because YouTube is taking that capability away from them. That's right. The only reason why they're mad. And going off on YouTube is for that one reason.
Well, but let's look at it deeper. Don't mean to cut you off. But before we move forward from that, because you make a good point, let's look at it for a deeper reason. Why are they upset that Hangouts on Air was shut down beyond the fact of it being shut down? In my opinion, and I want to hear what you have to say after I mention this, in my opinion, is they feel that they're getting silenced for, speaking their mind and saying things that they feel are a part of their freedom of speech. And what a lot of these right-winged extremists, this is just my opinion, I'm not attacking them, I'm stating my opinion. A lot of these right-winged extremists feel that they have the right to go out there and, profile people by race and stereotype. And that is not covered by your freedom of speech. And that is why I feel they're being taken down and why Hangouts on air was removed. It was too easy for people to come out here and violate the rules and push the boundaries of the system, which is why they did it. And a lot of these conservatives, like I said, they're thinking that, because YouTube is here in the Bay Area where I live and we're a liberal state, they're thinking that YouTube has the liberal agenda at hand. No. It doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right. If you're racial profiling, you're racial profiling. If you're stereotyping, you're stereotyping. I'm a liberal, and I've been guilty of stereotyping and racial profiling in my younger days. And I did it as a joke, like I mentioned earlier, but even as a joke, it's not right. So, just because I am a liberal, if I were to come out and say the same things that conservatives are being shut down, they're saying I wouldn't be shut down for it. No, I'd be shut down for it the same ways that you guys are being shut down. This is the problem I have with these right-wing extremists, especially the Caucasian males that are right-wing extremists. They think that it's the liberal agenda that is out to get them. That's the furthest thing from the truth. But go ahead. And it looks like JB Gunner is here in the chat. I'm glad you're here, JB, because I don't have a problem bringing you on the panel if you want to talk about this, in a little bit. But we can discuss it through the chat. Go ahead, Frost. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I mean, this is what I got to say about, to kind of put it, into my words a little bit. Freedom of speech does not protect you from the consequences of saying stupid shit.
Right.
And,
Amen.
And, and some people do need to wake up and smell the coffee and actually read their rights and everything, because like I said, freedom of speech doesn't, protect them from saying and doing the stupid crap they do on that they did on them panels.
Yeah. Frost, let me read a couple comments here. You make a lot of sense. Let me read a couple comments here. JB, why aren't you here on your regular accounts? You are completely unbanned from the YouTube and Google site. You are not banned. You can come over here and give your main channel some exposure. I mean, the greatest white tier of all the times is probably your one and only stock account. And if you're not able to get through, I don't know why. Maybe you have me blocked on one of your ends. That's a possibility. Some other people had the same issue, but my block list at a Google and YouTube level is clear. But let's address what JB's saying. To be racist means that you are stating a particular preference. If anyone gets emotional about preference, then they are weak. I don't care how many people hate me for being white. No, I agree with you on that, JB. I agree with you on that. And JB, there are probably people that are profiling you racially. But does that mean you have to do the same thing? You're a YouTuber. You can say the same thing in different ways. And I don't really feel that, race or, political party preference has anything to do with someone that becomes a mass shooter. If by coincidence, JB, it happened to be that all the last 6 mass shooters were Democrat per se, if they just so happen to be on the left, it doesn't mean because they're a liberal, they're more prone to do this kind of shit. It just happened by coincidence, unless you have some other proof that, that's what you feel is happening internally, mentally. then I can't validate that. And I think that's the way that YouTube is looking at it. No disrespect, JB, I like your content. And even though I may disagree with a lot of what you say, I respect the fact that you go out there and you stand up for what you believe in, whether I agree with you or not. But I can be civil about it and reasonable about it. Make sense, man? So, and furthermore, Frost, James Brophy says, at a grip on life, as sad as the shootings were, we lose far more lives daily due to Democrat-pushed abortions. As one example, the media puts a spotlight on guns, though. It's all a plan against the two. Listen, I'm not going to get into a topic of abortion here or anything like that, because primarily lately what YouTube has been hammering are people that are talking about current events that have to do, I think JV's right, that have to do with the presidential race coming up in 2020. I mean, I don't think YouTube has an agenda where they're trying to silence Trump supporters to help Democrat get into office. I think that's ridiculous. But I do think they are looking much more closely at topics related to that, because those are the topics that people are going to push the boundaries on right now more so than other topics. What are your thoughts, about what they're saying, Frost? Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, this is the only thing I really got to say is that all these walls that keep us from loving each other as one family or one race, racism, religion, where we grew up, whatever class or whatever, makes us to be so selfish and prideful. What keeps us from wanting to help the next man? What makes us to be so focused on personal legacy as opposed to the entire legacy of a race?
Real quick, hang on, bro. JP, give me 2 minutes and I will send you the link. And when you come on, while you're here, because I know you have a lot of time, I'm going to go refill my coffee and use the restroom, take about a 5-minute break. And I'm going to give you whatever time so you can make an address, because I know that you've struggled with some things on your channel regarding, talking about this, and they've really come after you. And again, I'm saddened by the fact that they're doing that. And I respect your work, but the guidelines are the guidelines, and we have to look at it closely. I think you've also taken ownership of the fact that this is just the guidelines of YouTube, and YouTube is a company that is here to make money. They're also not charging us to do these live streams and videos in high quality. They give us unlimited storage space and capabilities for free. All we have to do is play by their rules. Now, if we were paying for this service, that would be a different story. But the bottom line, it's a free service. That's another thing I want to kind of get into. But JB, I'll send you the link in about a minute. Go ahead, Frost, and finish saying what you're saying while I get JB on here, and then we'll continue and I'll take a break. No, Frost will stay on. He will stay on. Are you cool to stay on with JB? Because he's a good guy to talk to about this shit.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Go ahead, bro.
Well, and there is one person, like back in the history books, Martin Luther King. I'm gonna read exactly what he said about, the racism and all that. He said, "I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war that the bright daybreak of peace and brotherhood can never become a reality. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word." That's what he said. But I just think all this, racism stuff going on, and
racial profiling and stereotyping, bro.
Right. I mean, racial profiling is against the law, and I've seen, I've also seen this, like, back in Mississippi when I would go in like Walmart and stuff. I've seen people, do that, and I've actually had to, call out a few people on doing that because I knew it was
Yeah.
wrong. And I've even had it done to me before, like in public. I've had it done, and that's something that's not, so that really kind of ticked me off because that, I mean, I felt like offended, and I had a bunch of mixed feelings about that. All I know is that I was completely pissed about it. I was aggravated,
Yeah.
and I
No,
didn't like it at all.
I hear you, man. I definitely hear you, man. And look, while we wait for JB to get on, look, it goes beyond the law for me. It goes what's in my heart and my soul. Okay, I have black friends, I have white friends, I have Mexican friends, I have Asian friends, Chinese friends. People are people to me. If you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. I don't care where you come from. But to go out there and say that, this is happening more so with this particular group of people is horseshit, because any person at any time can go through something mentally and emotionally and do something that they regret doing. It doesn't matter where you come from. It matters what you've been through, how you're feeling emotionally and shit. Hey, JB.
Hey, sorry about that, man. I got you paused. Oh, shit, my camera's not up. Hold on. Now, I noticed that you started things off when you got in here saying that discrimination was illegal. My statement to that is it's illegal if you're in a position of power. Like, I can't hire you or, according to law, I cannot hire you or fire you based on race. I cannot, when it comes to a position of authority. But being racist in itself, would you agree, is not illegal? Like, if I wanted to go out in the middle of the street and call a black man the N-word, which I wouldn't do, I'm not that type of guy. You do understand there's nothing illegal about that. Like, I could do that. Like, freedom of speech does cover that.
Right, and I've been, I've also been called, what, people would call a white person usually, and they said it was the equal to the N word.
And how many of them did you ever see get arrested for calling you a hunky or a cracker? How many times did you see them get arrested?
None.
Right, because it's not illegal. That was my point. I just wanted to clarify that because I saw you make a statement that was, inaccurate. Let me ask you something, Frostwolf. When you go to do you consider yourself a conservative or a liberal? Just kind of curious.
More of I don't know. I really haven't thought of myself as either or.
No. If you were to vote for this coming president, who would you vote for?
It would be Donald Trump.
Okay. All right. And why is that?
Well, mainly because of I don't know like anything else. I just know that Donald Trump knows a lot about business and the economy and how the economy works.
Okay.
And and when he in the previous the presidential election and back in 2016, I voted for Trump because the U.S.'s economy was going down the drain, and I felt like he had a lot more background in that to fix it than Hillary.
Do you believe that President Trump is racist?
No.
Okay. And what he does, and this is what I think. Okay, I guess here's the thing: is what President Trump does from a position of authority, is he does critique everyone. Now, since we live in a country that is, as liberals would put it, a melting pot, it has a lot of different nationalities, has a lot of different races. Our president, when they critique Americans or American issues or American cities, unfortunately, for him, he has to critique all of the races that's here. We cannot live in a society where the president of the United States or anyone is only allowed to critique their own race without being called a racist. We currently live in a society where any critique from a Caucasian man, or particularly our leader right now, is being called racist. If I sit here and state a statistical fact, such as black women are 189.7 pounds, the average woman in general is 166.3. So for some odd reason, the average black woman is 24.5 pounds heavier than the average white woman, the rest of average women in America, and that I see that as possibly an epidemic in their community. I'm considered a racist. JB Gunner hates black women. JB Gunner is making a racist statement by stating a statistical fact. If I say that 54% of our homicides are committed by 13% of our nation, and in reality, about 6% of our nation, when we're talking about black males, I'm called racist, even though these are statistical facts. Would you, let me ask you, from your position, do you consider me a racist? Have you ever seen any of my material?
I've seen a little bit of it. I haven't seen much.
Mm-hmm. What do you consider racism? Like, what do you consider? Because I know you said earlier you don't like stereotype. When you see, like, what can someone say that would make you say that person's a racist?
Well, when they when they just do that, like, out of spite, out just, when they like, disagree or with something or something like that, and then when they call me that, then I consider that racist. When they just, when they do it just out of the, blue, and you know what I mean.
Has racism ever hurt you?
No, but it's offended me. Right. It's offended me.
Yeah. Well, I can understand that. The smell of seafood offends me, right?
Me too.
But I can't go in Red Lobster and call them and say that they're wrong for offending me, right? Like, so I guess what I'm saying is that, yeah, the thing about free speech does protect speech you don't like. And when we speak on free speech, we have to be clear that we're not talking about YouTube. What I mean here is free speech that's provided to us by the First Amendment of the Constitution. That's the free speech I'm speaking of, not YouTube. YouTube is a company that sets its own rules.
That's
and
correct.
If YouTube, my only problem with YouTube is that they're not clear. They're lying when they say they don't have bias. The fact of this is there's a Google tech exec that is on camera right now saying that the day Donald Trump got elected, that Google executives went up on the stage, they cried, and they said, what just happened here in 2016, we will not allow to happen in 2020. I can show you the video. In fact, I'll do it tomorrow morning on Morning Coffee. But
JB,
go ahead.
No, you can I mention something real quick? Yeah, and we'll tune into that definitely, because this is getting very interesting as we get closer to 2020. But I think you're right. Even though we disagree on several things and we're on the opposite end of the party spectrum, what's right is right. And in my opinion here, I honestly feel that there's racial profiling and stereotyping happening on both ends, both from liberals towards conservatives and conservatives towards liberals. But the minority is the Caucasian white man. I've been speaking about this for many years now, that the Caucasian white man, such as you and myself, JB, we used to be the majority way back in the days. Now we're the minority. So if we speak up on anything regarding our rights and stuff, we're shunned upon. Is that what you're saying?
That's actually an inaccurate statement. White people in general are still 67.3% of our nation. We're still the majority.
But we're not a protected class, JB.
Well, that's the difference. If someone, wrongs me, it's not really that big of a deal because I'm not protected. But if you know what I'm saying? The bottom line is you're right. The white straight male is the most hated motherfucker on this planet, right? Or at least in America right now.
I'll agree with that.
And I don't like it. But at the end of the day, people are entitled to their opinions. If I don't like someone due to race, and like I said, many people take me for a racist, and I'm not one. I'm not one. I criticize all races. I'm just not a white cuck pussy that's afraid to critique black folks.
And you're not a white supremacist either.
No, I'm not. I don't. The thing about this is it would be nobody that knows geography and knows the actual layout of the world would be a white supremacist, because the reality of this is white people worldwide are not the majority and we're not the most supreme.
That's correct.
At the end of the day, but however, I am, I guess, what you would call a white nationalist. I am very much so a nationalist. I care more about America than anywhere else. Now, in terms of, do I think that white people have led this country to a very beautiful place? Of course I do. We started off at war with the greatest nation on the planet at that time, the UK, obviously the British. We won that war. With just using our militias. We essentially took over. We started this country from scratch. And then what we did is we went on to become a superpower. And right now, maybe the only superpower left. So when liberals sit and say typically that this country would be better off without white supremacists or white nationalists, I always ask them this question. Do you consider George Washington, Ronald Reagan, Donald Trump, Abraham Lincoln, any of those people white supremacists?
No.
And well, here's the thing though. They were slave owners, and they actually were. Maybe not Donald Trump now, but what I'm saying is our country was actually built from white supremacists. And so to say, even if you don't like white supremacists, to sit here and say that our country would be better without them, no, we would be England. We would be sipping tea and eating. You understand that right now. We wouldn't be America, right? We would not be America without white supremacists. So to sit here and say that white supremacy or even white nationalism has no place in America, that's not true when it's what built America.
No, so, I agree.
Go ahead,
JB. Let me ask you this. We'll get Frostwolf's opinion on it. I think you hit the nail on the head, and I was saying this earlier before you came on. And I've actually talked to some attorneys regarding this, because I have attorney friends that I can talk to from my former in-person networking days. And what they're saying is that, and I think you said the same thing as well, is that there's a difference between what's legal and guidelines that a company runs their business based on, such as YouTube. Just because something is not illegal, to say outside of YouTube doesn't mean it's against their terms and conditions that they can legally enforce. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Now, the problem with YouTube is that they're not clear on it, right?
Correct.
Like what I'm saying is they're not transparent with the rules. Like they just slid into the rules that you cannot speak. Now a protected class is someone's immigration status, an illegal immigrant. So now, despite me being an American, I cannot speak out against a group of people that are criminals. They're literally breaking the laws in this country. And I can't speak out against them on YouTube now. And YouTube never even fucking made a video telling us we could. Like who goes and checks the YouTube guidelines when you've already read them? Who checks them all the time to see if they've changed?
Nobody.
Exactly. So all of a sudden, basically, we're no longer even though we're Americans, allowed to speak against illegal immigration. Both of my strikes on JB Gunner TV came from not racism. It was a different thing. It was the second one came from me questioning whether the shooters were right-wing extremists. And now here we are 2 days later, and we find out that I'm right. YouTube isn't coming to me and saying, JB, you were right. We'll take back our strike. What I said back then was that the two shooters were going to be registered Democrats and liberals. We then found out that they were. And so I was right the whole time, but YouTube hit me with deceptive practices because I was going against the narrative. that they were right-wing extremists.
So JB, let me ask you this. I don't mean to interrupt you, but you say so many good things that so fast that if we don't address them, we'll forget about them. And granted, you're entitled to your opinion, which I agree with. And stereotyping is not against the law, but it's stereotyping. Do you feel that, some of the things you say are stereotypes?
Well, I think we need to replace the term stereotype with generalization, right?
Okay, good
Okay.
point.
For
Good
instance,
point.
when I say black women are fat as fuck, I'm not lying. Their average weight is 189.7 pounds. What 190-pound woman have you ever seen that you don't consider fat? So if the average black woman is statistically overweight and obese, then my statement that black women are fat as fuck is not a racist statement or is a stereotype. It is a generalization based on a statistical fact. It's generalizing, right? Like when we sit and say that women will take you for everything you got. And the reason we say that is because the laws allow them to, and there's many women that do take men for as much alimony as they can, for as much child support as they can, and they leave them broke. And it's so when we make that statement, we're not saying all women will. We're saying in general, they do.
Let me ask you, JB, do you still use tags and descriptions regarding what you're talking about? Do you put in your tags certain things and in your thumbnails? Because a lot of times it's not even what's being said in the video or the stream that triggers the algorithm. They have intelligence that can now read your thumbnail, etc.
Yeah, the algorithm wasn't. Listen, I've been on this platform long enough to tell you right now the algorithm. It wasn't the algorithm. The algorithm hits you within 5 minutes of posting a video, and even when someone flags you, the verbiage is different. YouTube, when they personally look at your material, their verbiage is way different. It doesn't mention someone flagged it for review, and the algorithm hits, even though the verbiage is almost the same, the algorithm hit is almost immediately. And I can prove it to you by saying this. Have you ever put copyrighted music in one of your streams? Not one that you get struck on, but just one that immediately, once you're done with the stream or done with the video, it's a copyright claim. You know what I'm saying? The one that's
content ID claim, which is what you're saying. Yes, very rarely, because I very rarely use that, but sometimes yes.
That's immediate. In fact, in YouTube's own description of the algorithm, they say they can catch like white supremacist videos or ISIS videos before it even goes public, the minute it's uploaded. That's how quick they say their algorithm works. And the truth of this is every time I'm hit by an algorithm, it's within 5 minutes of uploading the video. So we're talking about incidents that happen days after. And so, and it specifically says we've manually looked into your video, and it does not meet YouTube's guidelines. And that's just kind of the reality. My first strike would be. Go ahead.
No, but and hold that thought with your first strike. We'll talk about it, and then I want to get Frosco's opinion too. But do you also believe, because this is what I've been noticing over the past 2-3 years with the changes, especially due to the advertisers, being pissed off, YouTube had to appease them. Do you feel that certain channels are looked at closely, like your JB Gunner TV may be, because they've been red flagged to be looked at when anybody flags anything for any reason? Do you think that they're looking at you closer because your channel's been red flagged in general?
No, I don't think they're looking closer because humans did it, because YouTube is smart enough to realize people false flag people all the time. However, YouTube themselves, there are certain keywords that they look for. Obviously, whether it's hashtag MAGA, things like that, or anything. It could be anything. Like in a video, if I put racism as a tag, they're going to look into that, right?
Right.
And so here's the thing. I actually agree with YouTube that people like myself probably should not be monetized on my political channel. Right. However, if YouTube themselves considers themselves advocates of free speech, it's one of their 4 tenets that they originally called themselves and that they still claim today. So if your reason for demonetizing me or anyone else was based on advertisers, once you demonetize us, that should fix that. Like you should allow me to still have my free speech. But however, I'm just going to say this. when you suppress and you completely eliminate conservative voices or voices even that kind of push the limit, you're telling people that you're not open for free speech while at the same time claiming you are. And that's fine. If you're not going to be a free speech advocate, fine. Just tell us so and say, we don't want your conservative shit here, and we don't want, cussing here or whatever it is. But you have to be consistent, and you have to let us know what it is you don't want. I mean, obviously we all know you don't want us putting porn on here. That's why none of us do it. I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. I sneak every once in a while and get my dick sucked on camera, but I know what I'm saying.
I know what you're talking about. That's been buried, JB.
That's right, because you gotta stick and move with that kind of shit. If you're gonna do something wrong, you gotta get it off there as quick as possible.
Yeah. Hey, Frostwolf, you can come back in. You dropped off. I want to get your opinion regarding this. Let me ask you this while Frostwolf is coming back in. If anyone else wants to join us, we're going to be on for about another hour to hour and a half here. A lot of people out there are talking mad shit. A lot of the conservatives are talking mad shit about the liberals. Now, here's my opinion. There's a difference between being an extremist and then being slightly to the left and slightly to the right. I'm not an extremist. I do like many conservative views, and I do like many liberal views, but I also don't like views from each side. Doesn't make me an extremist. I think what YouTube is more so focusing on are the extreme views. And do you feel that's what's happening, or?
No, I feel like because it's not. I don't have an extreme view because I'm not okay with babies being killed. I don't have an extreme view because I'm not okay with drugs being legalized. I don't have an extreme view because I'm not okay with people coming into our country illegally. Like, those to me are not extreme views. But according to the left, I'm an extremist. And I'm really, I don't have extreme views because I don't believe minimum wage should be $15 an hour. Like, I don't think we should be paying people that flip burgers that much money because their entire goal, that's an entry-level job that you should have at 15 and 16 years old, not in your 30s and 40s when you have families. Like, for just so to hear people in their 30s and 40s complaining about minimum wage, no, sir, you're a loser. You failed at life. That's why you're complaining now. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be making minimum wage in your 30s.
That's true. That's true.
So the complaint shouldn't even exist because minimum wage should be for 15 and 16-year-olds if it's going to exist at all. Like, that's just my take on it, right? Like, so I don't see where I'm that extreme. Now, you could say that my language, my cursing, or some of the viciousness, the fact that I'm so anti-PC is extreme. But I don't really see it that way. Howard Stern was being extreme 30 years ago, and it wasn't a problem. And advertisers loved him.
Yeah, because he got the ratings to make the money. He drew the crowd to sell the fucking commercials.
Exactly. The problem is now, when you got to realize, I just did a story. We're living in an era where they are arresting children for assault for playing dodgeball. We live in that type of era. The problem isn't the people that are viewed as extremists. The problem is the politically correct snowflakes that think that everything is either assault or a hate crime or racist or sexist. The problem is the fact that everyone is effeminized and pussies. That's why I call it the pussification of America.
Sure.
Think about that. Did you play dodgeball as a kid?
Absolutely.
Now, if someone drilled you in the face with a ball, did you feel it was assault and they should be charged?
No, I got pissed off and whooped them in their face the next time.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's the way it is. And so, but now granted, the charges got dropped on that kid, but the fact that he was charged at all fucking triggers the fuck out of me. It's like we're living in a world where everything is offensive and everything is somehow attacking someone. How can that be okay? And people are worried about whether I like you because you're black or not. Like, that seems like an emotional thing. Like, if you care what reasons I like you or dislike you, then I think you care a little bit too much. I'm a fucking stranger. But maybe we should be focusing on the things that's really happening and not someone's feelings about you based on your race. That's just my take. But like I said, there's plenty of people that think I'm crackers and honkies and all kinds of shit, and I don't give a fuck.
No, I hear you. Let me respond to something in the chat here that I think you may have some feedback on as well. Meme Club says, so as long as YT remains a platform, almost every ban is a legal violation against the First Amendment since it is based within the U.S. jurisdiction. Let me respond to that first, and then I want to hear your thoughts, JB. I don't think it's a violation of our freedom of speech because, number one, we're not paying for this. They're allowing us to upload and stream on a high quality platform for free. Now, if they were charging us money, I could see that's a different story if this platform was supported by us paying into it. But we are allowed to use this platform for free as long as we follow their guidelines, which they are legally allowed to create, which are different than the law. Does that make sense to you, JB?
Yes, but there's something else you're not taking into consideration.
What's that?
YouTube, when they started all this, they took a very slick legal route. They made themselves a public platform, which limited their liability as to what is posted, and they did that on purpose, right?
Yep.
So what I mean is it is acting as a publisher, is what they're doing right now, while abusing public platform protections statuses. It's exactly what Meme Club said in his next paragraph, and he's right. When you are registered as a public platform, it must be registered as the truth of this is you got to be registered as a publisher to dictate the content. YouTube legally, due to their claim to be a public platform, does not actually have the legal right to dictate the content because they say that it's public, it's the public arena. And so we're looking at this from a company perspective, but the reality of this is they forfeited that right when they strategically called it a public platform to get out of, paying for lawsuits for when I trigger snowflakes.
But JB, they are also, even though Google owns them, they're run as a separate entity. They are an LLC, limited liability company, which limits their liability. So Google can afford to take any minor hit they may lose in court to keep running it the way they're running it, is what you're saying.
Yes, but the bottom line is the legality behind what they basically registered as. Registering as a public platform means you're just that, a public platform. Like at that moment, it's the same reason they get away without, for instance, with us being independent contractors and not employees, right?
Right.
The truth of this is, if they were a employer, they could tell us what we can and cannot do.
Right.
They could, but we're independent contractors. They do not pay health insurance. They do not actually even pay a salary. We simply are business partners. When you look at the contract, when you finally get monetized, when you look at it, it is a partnership contract that you are signing with them, not an employer-employee contract. And like Meme Club said, they must be a publisher themselves to dictate the content. And that's even if you pay for your services, like Shadow says, they might still ban you for the same issues because there are people that pay for their services monthly. The YouTube, whatever the fuck it's called, you have it. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, what was that again?
There are people that pay for their services like you do. You have that YouTube.
YouTube Premium.
Right.
But that has nothing to do with creating. That has to do with being able to view videos without ads and to be able to you play them in the background on your phone so you can listen to it while you're at the park taking a walk whethout having to watch the video and kill your screen or kill your battery.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But what I mean is whether we're paying or not paying doesn't matter legally. Legally, it's what they registered as that matters. And even though I do take the position that they're a company and this and that, I've been listening to other people for quite some time now, and other people disagree with me, and they've actually proven it to me exactly what Meme Club is saying right there. That my entire position, because you guys know I'm pro corporation and I'm pro business, I've always defended Google in their right to be able to control what they put. However, all I've asked is that they were transparent. People like Meme Club, Meme Club is telling the truth when he says that they are actually illegally banning people like me. They're not allowed to. They don't have, by law, they're not allowed to. It's a public platform. And I never really knew that until I began looking into it.
So why are they, if this is the case, then why are they getting away with it per se? I mean, that's your opinion about what's happening. It may be a fact in your eyes, but what is allowing them legally to get away with this?
Well, they're not necessarily, it's because as you see right now, Congress is starting to pull them in more. They are starting to be questioned more. The government is starting to go in on these people. And hell, even Elizabeth Warren, which I hate fucking liberal sacks of shit, even the liberal scumbags are looking at them and saying, you know what? We need to look into Google. We need to look into YouTube. And I think that with them doing that, basically, they have conservatives and liberals on the political side, both against them. You have people like me and Trump against them. And then you have people like Elizabeth Warren against them.
Yeah.
Google is under a lot of fire right now, a lot of heat. And that's reality.
Got Brutally Lauren in the house, JB. Welcome, Brutally Lauren. Great to have you back on the panel. It's been a while.
I was gone I didn't know JB was on here. I was trying to listen to what he was saying so I could share thoughts, but.
Well, we're talking about the new YouTube, guidelines, and I mentioned that I fully agree with them, and we're kind of talking about what's going on with the company right now, why some people are getting silenced, etc. So you want to share your thoughts on that? JB and I have been sharing about them, and if you missed any parts, go check out the replay when it happens because it was pretty interesting.
I think they're just trying to control us more, control what we say. I mean, I don't agree with them.
For what reason, in your opinion? In your opinion, what's the reason?
If you talk, because if you talk about an illegal, that's hate speech.
Okay, but why do you think they're doing this beyond what's actually happening? What do you think is their narrative then?
Because the election's coming up soon, and I think that this was their plan. They're going to try whatever they can. They're going to silence people on YouTube, get people shut down just so, no disrespect, but so the liberals can, put out what they need to say.
Let me ask you a question, Eli.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Would you agree that supporting the illegal immigrants is a liberal position?
Do I feel that supporting illegal immigrants is a liberal position, is what you're saying?
Yes. The people, for instance, the people that are defending illegal aliens, sure. Would you or would you not generally say those are the liberals?
Well, that's what it appears to be. My opinion about it.
Conservatives aren't doing it.
No, I hear you. That's why I said that's what it appears to be, and it's been that way for a long time. I'm more so like in the middle, and let me explain to you why. I've talked about this in the past because
there was a reason. There was a reason I brought it up though, because you asked me before. Essentially, you said, what evidence is there that Google or YouTube leans left? I want you to think of. Go ahead.
Because of this.
I want you to think of something. Who's the only people that get upset or triggered if you critique or criticize homosexuality or another nation or illegal immigration? I want you to really truly look at their guidelines And tell me which conservative group, which conservative voice has ever even mentioned the word hate speech?
If I had to say,
Right.
JB, who it appears to be, I think it's the liberal extremist, because I don't feel that way. I'm not an extremist. I am slightly more towards the left, but I'm not an extremist. But my opinion about immigration and illegals and all that is that it's a double-edged sword, because in one aspect, yes, we do need to get better control over it. But number two, look at all the produce prices that we pay right now. They're not, if we didn't have illegals in the fields working for peanuts without health insurance, day laborers to do that, our produce and our cost of living would triple, JB.
But we're already taking a financial hit when we have to pay for their free health care or their education or you have to understand that little bit of savings that we have on fucking bananas or fruit
is not
that doesn't mean no, because look at all the money we're spending on not only taking care of illegal immigrants, but also housing them when they get incarcerated or shipping them back. A lot of money gets spent just because people think it's their right or that they're entitled to be able to come into our house, which we have locked and said, you motherfuckers can't come in unless you follow this process.
Right.
These people feel so entitled. They feel that they can skip the process and come right into our house.
No, I agree with you that there needs to be better control at the border. I've always felt that way, whether I'm a liberal, conservative, whatever. But, like I said, there are many jobs that these people will do that none of us want to do, JB, because like you said, you get into your 30s, you don't want to work for minimum wage. If I worked for minimum wage here in the Bay Area, I'd be on the street. It's like, it doesn't work that way, man. I get it.
But if the market dictates that's your value, people get paid with the worth, right?
Correct.
So if all your worth is $10 an hour, you can't cry about that. You have to live the life of a $10 an hour motherfucker, which may mean you got to work 2 jobs. And if you don't like the way the market values you, get new skills, get new jobs, get higher education. But either way, you cannot force me into saying that you're worth $15 an hour when the market is telling you you're only worth fucking $9.75.
So I agree.
You can't. Go ahead.
I get what you're saying. What I want to ask you and Lauren is this. Then why do you feel, and I'm going to refer back to the extremist liberals, because I'm not putting myself in that classification. I don't feel this way. Then why do you feel the liberal extremists are for having illegals come in and making it easier for them to come in? What is the benefit in their eyes?
They vote Democrat because ultimately
it's an election ploy.
Yeah. Typically the way this works is a lot of legal immigrants vote Republican because they typically have jobs and businesses and careers. The illegals are going to keep voting Democrat because the Democrats are the one that will keep the borders open that will allow them to come into our country. They both gain something of it. The liberals have access to our nation, and the illegals have access to our nation, and the liberals have new votes. They don't have to keep using dead people to vote.
It's a control technique, is what you're saying.
Yes, and that's the same reason why the liberals are pro-welfare. They're pro-welfare because here's the truth. If you keep giving a group of people handouts and saying, don't worry about it, go ahead and send the fathers off to jail and we'll take care of you. We're going to give you money and look, we understand that but we're just going to keep taking care of you. When you give people and take care of them, what incentive do they have to go work and take care of themselves?
Nothing. Zero. They get lazy.
I know women getting $800 a month in fucking food stamps. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of people that have full-time jobs that's only making $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 a month. So when you can stay at home, be on welfare, get food stamps of like $800 just because you pumped out all these children, and then also get TANF and other government programs. What incentive do you have to work when welfare pays you more than your skills would make at a job?
There's
And
no
so
there's no motivation to do it. None.
yes. And you have, so what happens is you have lifelong welfare queens that raise their children on welfare, and then those children grow up and be welfare queens. So we get stuck taking care of generation after generation of people that just simply don't want to work. And, you know, a lot of people will sit there and say there's a lot of people on welfare that have jobs. The accurate number is only 6% of the people on welfare have full-time 40-hour per week jobs. 94% of them work either part-time or they sit their lazy fat asses at home playing the PlayStation. That's factual.
I've seen that happen out here too, JB. No, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. I think it was a great idea to have you come on here and Frost Wolf and now Lauren to really talk about this, because a lot of people are not understanding, you know, how we have to play the YouTube game from here on out. It's not that we can't speak our mind. We've got to do it with a little more tact, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there's no question. I stay vicious, but at the same time, this is what my audience is used to, and it's what I'm going to give them. That's why I've created other platforms, DLive, things like that, for them to be able to, you know, maybe see or so they're able to see some of my more extreme material. I'm not going to put my extreme material on Patreon like everybody else does, because that's how your Patreons get flagged out. That's just the reality. You don't put your extreme material on Patreon, because then when somebody flags it, they can go see your extreme material on Patreon, and Patreon's like, no, I don't want this motherfucker here. So ultimately, you have to go to one of them free speech platforms outside of YouTube if you want to do some of the extreme material or have your own website. But here, yes, there is some straightening up that you got to do, or you got to know how to play the system like I do. But ultimately, they're going to censor everything until 2020. Once 2020 is done, they're not going to give a fuck. They're not going to flag me
It'll be
anymore.
back to the way it was for a few years until the next election. So this is the YouTube game that you know goes in a vicious cycle every 4 years.
Yep. And that's why I tell you, I've been here for 12 years, and I go every now and then, my channels go down. I don't even trip on it anymore. I don't complain about it. And it's, I mean, yeah, I might, well, I take that back. I do complain about it, but you don't see a whole lot of tears. It's like, fuck it, I'll just start over and do it again. But
yeah,
all the liberals that are cheering when I go down and cheering for things like that, I just want them to realize, see, right now you're cheering for my free speech and my opinion to be suppressed. You got to understand that the day is going to come where they come for yours.
Sure.
And and that's the bottom line. Once you're okay with other people's, you know, opinion being, you know, suppressed, eventually someone's going to come at you. And
no, you make sense. Let me ask you this, JB, and then I want to get Lauren's opinion as well. What I've decided to do, and I've planned this out myself, because what people need to understand is there's a difference between something being within YouTube's community guidelines and copyright guidelines and not being advertiser friendly for monetization. So while this stream here is within the guidelines, this would not be a stream considered advertiser friendly based on what we're talking about. So what I'm going to do is put all these streams on a different channel that I will not monetize. And when I get to 1,000 subs, this will be the channel where we do interviews and do stuff that's, you know, advertiser friendly. And I think we need to teach people more so how to decipher that and actually get some more content on your own hosted, on your self-hosted platforms that is extreme beyond everything. But does that make sense to you?
I think yes. But the thing about it is, I think there's plenty of companies that would advertise and sponsor on content like this. But in general, this is no different than old television. You had network television, and then you had cable TV. Cable TV didn't have advertisements. They didn't have ads. I mean, not cable, but like HBO, the premium
Pay TV.
channels, right?
Pay TV.
They didn't have advertisers, so you saw that their content was more edgy. Showtime, Cinemax, HBO. So someone like myself, I consider myself Showtime, Cinemax, or HBO. So I'm not offended. I was not offended when they demonetized me. I expected it, because most companies are not going to put their company's name next to controversial material. As a company, as a man that owns a business, I understand that. But when you say now you don't belong on the platform, even though we claim to be advocates of free speech, now we're taking it much further than talking about just the business and the money aspect.
Right.
Because there's plenty of black people. There's plenty of I'm just going to say this clearly. There's black people out there right now with chants of killing pigs, as they say, with statements by even Oprah Winfrey saying, well, this country will not be good until all the old white people die off.
That's
and
terrible.
so if you're not going to hit them for hate speech, how in the fuck are you going to hit me? I'm just saying, go. All you got to do is Google it. All the times, just Google black people saying cracker or whatever. Just YouTube it, anything like that, and you will come across. Or just YouTube the new Black Panthers and watch some of the fucking shit that they say. And there's ads on these videos.
Yeah,
but I can't say shit about the welfare queens. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, JB, and I understand your perspective a lot clearer now. And all these new YouTube rules have forced me to look at it much more closely, outside of the fact that, hey, you're a conservative, I'm a liberal. I don't even look at it in that way, even though it makes sense for you. I'm looking at hearing the actual truth and the logic and reasoning behind it. Now, Lauren, what are your thoughts regarding what we've been saying here? Do you have anything else to add to that?
Have you ever watched James O'Keefe?
I have not. No. Is it something
Project
you would recommend?
Veritas?
No, I have not.
Okay, JB is shaking his head. Yes, they actually did a sting on Google, and who was running Google, and they were all liberals. And it's undercover work. You have to look him up. It's Project Veritas.
Okay.
Yep.
And you'll actually be surprised at some of the undercover stings they've done. They've done Google. Oh gosh, I've seen all of them, and I went blank. But they
did Planned Parenthood too.
Planned Parenthood, that was the big one. But they're exposing this liberal agenda, and how they admit, like, we're going to keep these people on the right, we're going to keep them quiet. Is the extent of it.
Real quick, Deplorable Arab 2.
And what's the
wow
your
for?
tune.
Is it because I haven't seen those videos? You can actually send me those links, Lauren, if you have them, to my Hangouts chat. I'll check them out later tonight. Maybe it'll be something we could do another show on. And if it's too extreme, maybe I'll do it on a secondary channel.
No. Well, I don't know.
I got to look at it first to make a decision where I would want to put that content at, because we have to actually be a little more careful nowadays on where we put certain content. You know what I mean? But yeah, do you have the links to that? Can you send it? You don't have to do it now, later on. Yeah. Is that cool?
Yeah. And I mean, Mark Dice, they're doing it to him. Like he's saying it all the time. Well, they unmonetized another one of my videos. I mean, it's like every day he has something to say about Google or YouTube going against him as well.
But that's not, here's the thing that people have to understand that, Lauren, hold on a second. When it comes to ad revenue, it's not YouTube dictating that. It is the advertisers that are dictating that.
No.
It's
YouTube does decide who gets ads and who doesn't.
I agree, but that's based on what the advertisers will advertise on. The advertisers get to choose where they want their ads and where they don't want them, and all YouTube is doing is abiding by their rules, because they're paying YouTube the money. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yes and no, but when you completely demonetize a channel, let's be honest here. There are plenty of companies that are conservative based that would advertise on someone like Mark Dice's or mine or anyone else, right? And they're shutting them companies out and saying, well, we've decided this guy can't be monetized at all, so even you conservative companies cannot support him. A company like Chick-fil-A would support Mark Dice in a heartbeat, but ultimately they're being shut out because YouTube makes these decisions. Now, are they making it based on the complaints of a lot of liberal companies in the past? Of course they are. television has always been about being politically correct. And what we are seeing is YouTube taking the television route due to advertising, and that's fine. But I just want them to come out and say it and be specific. Right. And then ultimately, if that's the case, don't monetize or put ads on us that you don't feel is ad worthy. That's fine. We can accept that. But when you say you can't be here at all while claiming to be advocates for free speech and a public platform legally, now you're taking it a little far. And so that's all we're saying. You know, I'm not going to make people put ads on my shit. Ad revenue don't matter to me anyway. But when you're silencing people and you're caught on tape saying why you're silencing people, but you're telling society that you're not. You're telling Congress. You're going into Congress and you're lying under oath to Congress and saying you're not. But you're caught saying it on tape that you are. Google flat out is committing crimes right now. And that's the reality.
And because they have lawyers and tons of money, they can fight this shit off and live another day or 2 or 20 or 30 years or whatever. They have the money to fight it.
They have the money to extend all possible inquiries.
And they can also, you know, write off these lawsuits as tax write-offs, which they need to not pay as much tax. So it's a monopoly is what you're saying.
Yes. And typically I'm okay with that. I'm pro corporation. However, you know, even leftists like someone that you like, Elizabeth Warren, they are making statements saying Google and YouTube and Facebook needs broken up. Now, me personally, I'm okay with monopolies. I'm okay with it. I feel like if you've reached that level with your business, who am I to say, no, you got to break it up? So I'm actually pro corporation and pro monopoly, but it doesn't mean that everything they do is right. And in this situation, it's not right. Only because of the legal classification and registration that they filed when they filed for YouTube, when they registered YouTube, period. And so I hope all that made sense, but that's my position. As a company, they have the right to do what the fuck they want unless they're registered as a public platform.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. How you presented that here today. This has been a very interesting show and conversation, and you know, I hope a lot of people get a chance to view this, not just for the traction of my channel, obviously, but this is a very important topic that a lot of people are struggling with. Many people are complaining about, but no one is really talking about it in depth. And I think what you and I have brought to the table here, JB, is the liberal / conservative view. We're on opposite ends of the spectrum, but we can have a civil conversation and understand each other. And that's all I've ever wanted with people out there on YouTube is, yeah, I'm slightly on the left, you're slightly on the right. We have a difference of opinion in things, but let's see, you know, how we can. What's that?
I'm pretty far on the right, but go ahead.
Okay, so you're an extremist.
May I say something?
I don't. No. I think I'm just right wing. Like, I don't think I'm an extremist, but I don't think I'm just slightly on the right.
So
you're full-fledged on the right.
You're far right, but you're right at the borderline before the extremist thing comes into play. You're right there.
But I mean, I have liberal views on the environment. Unlike most conservatives, I'm very big on the environment and us not using up forest in order to generate new urban areas. I'm very big on shit like that. But that's for the most part it. I believe you should have the freedom to fuck whoever you want, but laws should not be based on, like, I don't want you, I don't want you sucking a dick or promoting dick sucking in front of my son. Shit, like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't. It's weird, but yeah, no, I'm not slightly to the right. Like, majority of conservative things, I'm for.
Real quick, JB, I just checked donations and Mr. Marcel Harding is donating again. I don't know, maybe he's enjoying the content, but I want to thank Marcel Harding for the $5 New Zealand donation. Let's go ahead and accept that and see what it converts to. It converts to $2.75 US. So I want to thank Marcel for the $2.75 PayPal donation. If anyone else would like to donate to support the channel, Nightbot's sharing the link every 6 minutes, paypal.me/Coach Eli. And you can leave a note. I'll put it live on the air. Unless you request to remain anonymous, I will definitely honor and respect your privacy on that. So, yeah, it's been very interesting. Now, let me read something, JB and Lauren, and get your feedback on this. One of my good buddies that stems back from my former channel, Wrestler Mania, his name happens to be Jamie as well. Great guy. He is a moderator here as well. He says, I heard a story on NPR and Fox News that liberal channels like the Young Turks, David Pakman, etc. are also getting demonetized episodes and liberal channels being shut down. So saying it is only happening to right-wing channels is incorrect. And I agree with that. I mean, it's happening on both sides. Go ahead.
No, he is actually not 100% wrong and not 100% right. It is happening to some leftist channels, but here's what's actually happening. This has nothing. Basically, what it is the destruction and the suppression of independent media. I may not like the Young Turks. I may not like David Pakman, but they are independent media that deserve to be out there. They're no different than InfoWars or any of us, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we all deserve to be out there. The problem is that the Young Turks, they're never going to be completely demonetized because they are media darlings, and Lombard is right. But ultimately, what you have to understand is mainstream media, they can get away. Let me give you an example. If a terrorist attack happens and CNN's YouTube channel covers it, they still get monetized. However, if someone like you or me covers the terrorist attack, they will demonetize the video. Yep. The problem isn't 100% left versus right. It is establishment and mainstream media versus independent media. Now, correct. The right takes a little bit more of a hit because Google is leftist. However, you have to understand that the ultimate goal, and if you would have watched the YouTube flashback from this year, you will notice YouTubers and independent media people are no longer actually welcome on this platform like they were. There's a lot more promotion for mainstream. Go to the trending page, and I guarantee you will see videos from like Late Night with Stephen Colbert. You'll see shit like that is very much so mainstream media driven. The independent content creators like yourself, me, or even, I'll even throw out there the Young Turks, even though I hate them. Those creators are being pushed off so that the major media corporations could come in. Why? Because people like us expose those major media corporations as fake news, and they can't have that because that ultimately, Meme Club says, what is the trending page? You'd have to go to the YouTube homepage to see it. It's just right there. But ultimately, the mainstream media has to fight back and kill off what's being considered the real news to counter all the accusations of them being fake news.
Because if they don't, they lose viewers, and then no viewers, no sponsors, they're out of business, is what you're saying.
Yes, and it's media driven, and all you have to do is look up Operation Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird is where the CIA came in and infiltrated the mainstream media. This is a proven, documented fact. And the truth of this is since Operation Mockingbird, our government or our media has been ran by basically our government, our state. It's no different than Russia's media or Iraq's media. It's called state-run media. And that's what our mainstream media is. It's ran by the government to control what we know, to control what we think. And so people like you, me, I hate to say it, the Young Turks, Alex Jones, all of these people, we need people like that. Do you see what I'm saying? Because if you're only listening to mainstream media, you're in one hell of an echo chamber. And it doesn't mean which one you're listening to. I don't care which one you're listening to, whether you're listening to liberal-ass CNN and MSNBC or even conservative-ass Fox. All three of those channels that I just mentioned have a specific agenda. So we need independent media, period.
Right.
And they're not having that because, well, it fucks up their revenue.
Big JB, so I was just going to say the same thing you just finished off saying, is that this, and this is what I've been saying all along, this all boils down to money when you look at it at the end of the day.
Control and money.
Well, yeah, because if you don't control it, then you're out of business and you have none.
Yeah.
That's
well, and ultimately, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead. No, go ahead.
Ultimately, if people start, like, for instance, the mainstream media, if people start losing faith that what you're telling them is real, then you lose your ability to control those people.
Yeah.
And it's the same reason that they're pushing gun control. If you take away people's guns, then you take away their ability to fight back if there's ever a tyrannical government. A disarmed public is a controlled public. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Hitler took the guns. Why? Because that made their population easier to control, easier to bully, and easier to manipulate.
Yeah.
We either want to live in a free America or we do not. I, for one, do. And with that, brother, I got to go.
All right, man. Thank you so much for being here, man. Much appreciated, JB.
No problem, man. Enjoy the rest of your show. This has been a great show. Great topic, man. We'll have to do this again.
We will, definitely, man. Take it easy, and thanks again for being here. Lauren.
Yes.
Wow, that was very, very interesting. Everything that JB said was very interesting, and I'll go ahead and mention this because we JB, myself, and other people from the community we used to be involved with, when we all used to beef back in those days. That's all said and done with. I've always valued JB's opinion, whether I agree with it or not. But in this case here, from what I gathered, and I want to get your opinion, Lauren, from what I gathered with JB, this is, and maybe this is not the right way to say it in his eyes, but in my eyes, it's not a fight between conservatives and liberals. It's about a fight for what's right. And basically, it's about freedom of speech. It's about suppression. It's about a monopoly. It's about being controlled. So that way, certain companies can make a lot more money. And so, I mean, I think it's a lot. I think there's a lot more to it than, conservatives being the ones primarily attacked. But I understand the argument because, I think more conservatives speak out in this way than liberals do, which is why they are getting more shut down and attacked. Like, what are your thoughts, Lauren? What do you feel about what JB said? It was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I actually agree with everything he said and the way he put it. I couldn't have said it better myself. And what I wanted to say a little bit ago, but I wanted JB to finish his thought, was I have a suspicion that once you watch the videos that I send you, you may be changing your mind as well.
Yeah, and I'm open
Project
to that.
Veritas, because they did they did an undercover on CNN. That really opened my eyes to a lot. And I've been following them for a long time, and that alone, you'll be blown away. I'll just say that.
Okay, now I definitely look forward to that, and I'll probably get another show going on that topic sometime soon. But here's the thing, Lauren, like with me, the reason why a lot of people have attacked myself and my views in the past is because I guess I am kind of more neutral. Like I said, I slightly identify a little bit more towards the left. I'm not far left. I'm not extreme left. I'm just slightly more to the left. But like I said, I like the views of both sides. I look at people as individuals. And, I don't like to pass judgment on anyone, but if I'm going to pass judgment on somebody, it's going to be solely based on their behavior as an individual, not whether they're male or female, gay or straight, lesbian, bi, trans, black, white, Asian, Hispanic. It has nothing to do with that for me. That I consider that racial profiling, and I consider that stereotyping. Okay. Now, granted, while it may be within your freedom of speech to talk about it, outside of a platform like YouTube, but there are guidelines we have to follow for this platform here. But do you understand why people would attack me? Because I'm more so about being in the middle and doing what's right for the best overall interest of everyone. Go ahead.
Well, if you're speaking about yourself, I definitely 100% agree. But for you, and you've changed a lot. You've grown over the last few months, honestly, because if you go back and look at something I said on one of the first times we actually spoke on a panel, something I said not even remotely close to being political, and you blamed it on me being on the right.
You want to
and
know
it had
why?
nothing to do with it. I don't know either. I'm sure if anybody in the chat remembers back then, and you were like, "Well, that's got to be because you vote Republican," and I'm like, "What?"
I remember, but may I address that issue now that we're here?
Sure.
Which is why I'm glad you're here, Lauren, because you got to understand one thing. When I was dealing with a lot of different things, a lot of people coming at me for many different reasons. I was running from a high level of emotion. I was being attacked everywhere, left and right, to the point of even when someone like you made sense, which I'm going to come out here and say you made sense, and I apologize and respect your views and your opinions. Like at that point, when people are coming at you so hard, sometimes you overreact. And it gets to you, and especially out here on YouTube, you have to learn how to deal with the court of public opinion. So you know, I've learned that more so over the course of time. And I had thick skin as a human being before I came on YouTube, but YouTube will even test someone that already has thick skin. You got to take your thick skin and multiply it times 10 to be out here on this platform with the mass amount of attacks you're going to get. It's going to happen. So, and look, JB's been on the platform for what, 12, 13, 14 years, however long it's been. I bet you he went through the same thing.
I think he said 12.
12. I bet you the first 2-3 years of his YouTube career, he went through the same shit that I'm going through right now. And he's learned how to handle it and deal with it, because no matter what anyone says, you could be a strong man or woman outside of YouTube and come onto YouTube and get knocked down. You got to learn the YouTube ropes. And does that make sense to you, Lauren?
Absolutely. And it's true. It's true.
You've been attacked too. And by me as well. Not intentionally, Lauren. I apologize for that. I'm like the least of your worries compared to what you've dealt with.
Oh, no. I've been attacked many times. Yeah. Still do.
Me too. But we learn how to let it bounce off.
Get it. Unless it's just the things that I see, I think you get it a lot more than a lot of us, honestly. But yeah, you have changed. I mean, a few months ago, I mean, you would be whiny about stuff. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't mean that with any disrespect at all, but
of course.
It just shows that you're growing and that you're changing and that you're able to adapt to this better.
Well, Lauren, here's the thing. Like, me as a human being outside of YouTube, I've always been a good person. I've never been an attacking type of person. I've been a straightforward person like I am out here. But, you know, when I came out here, you know, and I somehow got involved with the MGTOW Manosphere community, I was actually recommended to be a part of that community. I thought I was going over there to join a group of men that wanted to support each other. And my gosh, what happened was like World War III. You know, and it was the craziest shit I ever participated in. Through that group, I met a lot of people like you and some of the other ladies that may or may not be a part of this channel anymore. That's up to them. But there was a lot of drama that stirred up through that. A lot of drama, to the point of where I had to figure out, if I'm going to move this channel forward, I've got to get rid of that unnecessary drama and focus on the real good people. You just so happen to be one of the good people with the right intentions and the right head and heart to continue being a part of this with me. Many of the others are just out here to create drama, feed off the drama, go back and forth with no topic at hand besides the fact that, I'm attacking this woman just because of shit that happened, behind the scenes, a long time ago. So I had to learn to let that shit go and learn how to avoid that shit from coming back, to be able to actually focus on what you're saying. Whether you're on the right or the left, Lauren, my intentions were never to attack you on that. It was just an emotional reaction that I had to learn how to handle better based on what was happening to me at that time, which was new. I was still fairly new to YouTube, even when I came back on this channel. But now I feel I've got a better grip on my life in regards to running a YouTube channel. How does that sound?
Grip on your channel.
I grip my channel. But you're banned. You're banned from my channel.
I haven't been able to see the chat, and I just see Starbucks is here meowing.
Yes, Starbucks, your main account is not banned. And it's not banned on Google or YouTube. I think you may have me banned on your end. So unless you want to come in here and promote Starbuck the Kitty, the world's greatest kitty on YouTube, Starbuck the Kitty.
And I just put in the chat, because I think somebody asked, I could be wrong, but the Project Veritas video, it's 4 days old. It was just it was just put on their channel 4 days ago. So it's very new, but it's getting a lot of news now.
Okay. Fantastic.
But
fantastic.
No, I think, I mean, when you go to the link, you'll obviously be on their channel. And if you look at some of the other things that they've done, I mean, it's coming from these people's mouths. It's not fake, it's unbelievable, the things that they have found out.
And I'm going to check it out, Lauren. You want to know why? Here's the thing. Let me be honest about something. I don't know if you've noticed lately. And after this, we'll do final thoughts and wrap this up, because I think we're getting to the end of this show here. And I want to give people a chance to watch this replay. And we can talk behind the scenes, Lauren. Maybe we can do some shows like this between our channels. I think it would be a good thing. Maybe get JB involved and really get, a good debate going on this and help people. But what I've noticed,
and that is one other thing I will say, is that you didn't rage quit when people disagreed with you.
Yeah, and I never wanted to. The only reason why I did in the past is because I felt people were being a little unreasonable. And the bottom line is they were looking at me more as an entertainment factor than somebody they could take seriously. They weren't valuing my opinion, but they saw a lot of entertainment value that was making them money on that fact alone, and they honed in on that for a little while. So now we've moved past that, and there's no reason to rage quit, because people are being reasonable and we're just having a great conversation. But Lauren, here's the thing. I don't know if you've noticed this. I certainly have. Compared to how it even was last year or the last few years, this year in 2019, it just seems like content on YouTube has gone down the toilet. I'm not saying that there isn't any decent content left on here. There is, but there's certainly a lot less good content. So for you to share a link to me that is interesting, and I look forward to viewing and taking time out of my busy day to view that video over something else, that means a lot to me. And that's what I want to give people here, and help you give people, and maybe JB and some others that are out here, to provide really good content that's not only entertaining, but also, throws down, my favorite thing. You know what my favorite thing is, right? Entertaining people while throwing down the truth bombs. That's right, Lauren. Does that make sense to you? Have you noticed there's a decline of good content out here on YouTube? And what are your thoughts about that?
No, I agree. And that's why a lot of people are, viewing other people's videos under fair use and critiquing them, because you're like, what in the hell am I going to talk about now?
Right.
But I think James O'Keefe would appreciate it if you played one of his on your channel. You played one of my friend Steve Mango's, the guy that's a Scientologist. He's actually a friend of mine.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Lauren,
yeah, but we weren't speaking back then.
We got to talk about that at some point. Get you on
I'm
a
sure
panel.
we do.
Well, listen, with Granny Monster, you know Granny Monster, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say if we got a panel, you, myself, Granny Monster, and anyone else that wants to talk about this Scientology thing? Now, I didn't know you were connected with him. That's pretty fascinating.
I am very knowledgeable when it comes to Scientology. I just haven't spoken about it. Yes.
Are you open to it?
Sure.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I backed Steve up 100%. I was like, because somebody said he's playing a Scientologist show or video. And I was like, oh, I was at work and me and you weren't getting along. And so I went and looked and I'm like, that's Steve on his show. Like, what is going on? But it was like one of the very first videos he ever did, I believe.
It was a good video. And you know what, Lauren? Here's the thing. It is because of Granny and bringing up Scientology to my forefront. I knew what it was, but I didn't know exactly how it worked.
Right.
Understanding the way Scientology is run as a business allowed me to become a better and stronger YouTuber. So that's what the fascination of it is to me. I learned how to handle all this BS, and I'm not saying I completely ignore all of it, but I only focus on the parts that make sense and help me further get ahead. And the shit that wastes my time and sets me, back, I just have learned to eliminate that. So yes, I definitely want to do a show on that. And Lauren, like I said, we can work this between all channels, and that way we can all grow together. That's all I've ever wanted, is to collaborate with people about these topics to help people get further ahead in life. That's it. That's it. Beautiful.
Well,
yeah.
I can text him or message him and ask him. I haven't talked to him in a while, but
shit, if he wants to come on a panel, I would love that. That would be great. But regardless, we could do it ourselves. And I know for a fact Granny Monster would love this topic. Now, Lauren, one more question.
And he worked at the Celebrity Center too. I mean, he worked at the Celebrity Center
in LA, in Los Angeles.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
He lives in California. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he knows about this stuff. I mean, they did him I'll let him tell his own story, but yeah.
They did him wrong. I'll speak. I'm not afraid of science. Go ahead.
No. Well, there is a point to where you should, because you thought Buddha raid was bad.
Buddha raid.
Scientologists, though, they will come after your channel, your family, your home, your finances. I mean, the squirrels are real. I'll tell you that they are
Come
real.
and get me, Scientologists. Lauren, listen, I'm not trying to mess around here. I'm just saying, I get what you're saying, and you're not wrong. You're right. They can do that.
Yeah, no, I'm not threatening you. I'm saying anybody that. The thing is, I think that's why Steve is kind of okay, because he talks about his experiences, and he's not. To us, it's negative, like, oh my God, how can they do that? But the way he's saying it factual, to where it's not an attack on them. You see what I'm saying? That's why he's not, he's not like some of the other, like Leah Remini and all them, because they are straight attacking them. But
I love that show that Leah Remini does. It's Scientology, The Aftermath, I think is what it's called, or something like that. Yeah. I'm watching the reruns right now on demand, and I gotta say, it's pretty fascinating to hear these people talk about it.
What did you say? I'm sorry. Oh.
I was saying that I've been watching the reruns of Scientology. I believe it's called Scientology: The Aftermath with Leah Remini, and I got to tell you, it's fascinating stuff. I am fully engaged on it, and just hearing these people's stories, Lauren, is unfucking believable what they went through.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like,
and I actually live with a Jehovah's Witness, and she's doing a show, or she was doing something where she was comparing Jehovah's Witnesses with Scientologists, because really they're not that much different. I was raised with a Jehovah's Witness, so
wow,
it's not that different, except for they worship different things, I should say.
No, absolutely. Absolutely, Lauren. Let me ask you one more thing here, and then I'll get your final thoughts, and we'll get on out of here, and then we will talk behind the scenes next few days and make something happen. Your channel is nearing 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations! You're at 8 something. You've been growing, and I'm proud of you.
9
for that.
now.
9 something now. So now. And your content is pretty advertiser friendly. I mean, you don't go too crazy or anything, but do you plan on monetizing your channel when you get to 1,000?
If I can get some, yeah, maybe.
Might as well.
This is more of a hobby still, but I do take it seriously. I'm sorry.
What? Why wouldn't you monetize it if you can and make a little extra money and we can support you?
Well, yeah. I don't want to take away from people who are really doing it for money,
You're not.
Like I was messing around because, they're this scammer guy on YouTube and he started attacking me just all because of RJ, of course. I mean, that's how he found me. So I've been dealing with that. But no, I'm going to do more serious stuff because that's what I'm into. I'm not really into all that. It's
not Aloe the Winter like he used to mention. Eli.
Oh, no, Aloe is one of my, I love Aloe. No. He is a troll, though.
Okay.
He is a troll, but no, Aloe is a very good guy. No, it's the Frank guy.
Oh, Frank. Yeah, I actually was on a stream. And let me mention this before we get final thoughts. And I hadn't planned on mentioning RJ, but I'll briefly mention you, RJ, because he's still watching my shows. And he still talks smack about me every day. And he gets about 3 or 4 people in the box. And he gets about 30 views per stream. And he keeps on talking about me. And I just sit and I tune in for maybe 5 minutes. Like, okay, it's the same old shit, different day. But yeah, I was on a stream with, I believe it was Frank and a few other people before he shut down his former channel. And, I was just cool with those people. If you're cool with those people, they won't mess with you. If you attack
I'm cool
them,
with all of them but him.
Okay. What actually happened, if you don't mind? Do you have a minute or so to discuss that? I'm just curious.
I was on a show. I was invited on a show of people that they do get a lot of views, and I was invited through RJ at first, and then RJ kind of dropped off, and I stuck around, and I was asking questions about Frank because everybody was saying bad things about him, and I was like, well, who is this guy? What about him? Just things like that. And the next stream the guy did, he was just calling me names, said he was going to call my work and have me fired, said I was having an affair with Popeye. I've never even seen him. I've spoken to him. That was about it. But I mean, they were telling the truth about him for sure.
Yeah, some of these people.
Yeah, he immediately started attacking me.
Yeah, for no reason. It sounds like, besides the fact that
they're just because I was asking about him.
Sure, because they're a troll and their MO is doing what you just said they're doing, and if they don't stir up the pot, then they don't have any content. So, yeah, you're probably doing the right thing. You're ignoring it. Yeah, you briefly mentioned it here. Not a big deal, and I'm sure it's all kind of fizzled away, right, Lauren?
I think so for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good. Excellent. Real quick before we get your final thoughts, Keith Migtaw, RJ and his 3-legged girlfriend. Come on, Keith.
Yeah, RJ is my friend. He is. So, but I mean, he is, I think he wants to be like Jerry Springer, or like a WWE referee or something. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
So, and then he's talking to Lauren and, trying to get to know more characters. And so.
Well, the funny thing about RJ, before we get your final thoughts, Lauren, I've said it about 3 times now. The funny thing is that anybody that I, have a beef with or have associated with and didn't work out, like, he makes that his focus. Then he goes and reaches out to these people and says, come over here and share your story. And it's the same old song and dance. And where has it gotten, RJ? He shut down like 5 channels.
He should be Eli's after show.
Yeah.
He could be the after show.
There used to be a guy, he's still around. His name is the Bearded Nemophilist. And when
I know him. Yeah, I know who he is.
when the other guys that have made an agreement to not talk about now, when we would do a show on my channel or their channel, the Beard and the Mop list immediately, once we were done going live, would go and do the post-game after show or the shit show, right? And we would all go over there and just kind of, talk some smack about what happened. And some of us would have some drinks and we just have a good old time. And that was that. Maybe that's RJ's purpose, but until he comes to terms with what he really wants to do, which is what I'm trying to say, he's going to keep on going in this vicious cycle of, okay, I run a channel, I get to 200 subscribers, then I have all these issues, then I shut down my channel, I start over again, I rebrand. I mean, it's, I don't know, Lauren.
Yeah.
It's not worth my time investing into someone that I'm not certain if their channel is going to be there 3 months down the road with content I help them create. I want to be able to create content that sticks, not that's going to be removed. And that's what RJ does. But anyway.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying you're right. I mean, you don't know how many times I've thought about rebranding. I mean, brutally Lauren. Well, I'm just going to have to embrace it. That's what I am. That's who I am. I'm just going to have to embrace it and build around it.
It is who you are. It's even the picture on your avatar right now has the brutally short shirt on there, and that's great. That's who you are, and that's who I've known you to be. It's a great brand. There's no need to change something if it isn't broken.
Yeah. And 8-Bit's talking about rebranding, and I'm like, why would you? Maybe you should do a show on rebranding, like people, because I've heard a lot of people saying they want to rebrand, and I'm like, why? Like, why would you get rid of the name 8-Bit Reactor? Or is he just talking about rebranding the channel, not his name?
Well, he's going to switch genres. He no longer wants to do specifically reaction videos. He wants to get into paranormal stuff. That's what he's passionate about. So I think what's most important, Lauren, before you create a channel or run any type of business as a self-employed entrepreneur, you got to figure out what your passion is and then go with that. And then brand your channel and your channel name with that, because then it's not work. And whether you become successful or not as a YouTuber, you're basically doing it because you love doing it. And most of the people that have become successful on YouTube started off doing it as a hobby because they enjoy doing it beyond the money. And that's why I do it as well. Now, do I hope it replaces my income at some point? Yes. But if it doesn't, that's okay too, So with that being said, Lauren, how about we have you share your final thoughts, and then we'll get on out of here.
Final thoughts is I agree that hopefully after the election, some of this will calm down. I'm usually very optimistic, but I think that once we get used to the censorship we have now, they're just going to censor more. Okay, well, we're used to this, so let's just put a little bit more on them. And they'll just keep doing it until we can't say anything. I'm hoping, like I said, I'm optimistic that that's not what'll happen, but it just seems the way that things are going. I would say that's my final thought on the subject matter.
Yeah. No, I totally get what you're saying. And again, Lauren, before I share my brief final thoughts, it was a great pleasure having you here today, you and JB. I think this was a great show. I think if we focus more on doing shows like these where we're all working together and we don't talk about the drama sphere surrounding us. I mean, it was so nice to not talk about the drama sphere for like 2.5 hours and really, talk about a very important subject that many people are concerned and confused by and upset by. So that was great. Yeah. Now, here's the thing, Lauren, to everyone else out here. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, bang the bell, select all notifications if the pop-up box pops up, and make sure at a device level that your YouTube app is set to receive notifications. Also, folks, if you go below in the description, you can actually join my public Discord, Coach Eli's community of United Men and Women. And it's a public link. You can share that with anyone else. It's a link that also never expires. So check that out. And that's where people will go into that part of the group, including myself, where we further share our YouTube links and other links, because sometimes you may not get the notification. At least if you're on the Discord, you'll know exactly what's going on. You can also communicate with us, behind the scenes in between live streams and videos. And besides that, I think we are good to go. Anything else, Lauren?
Yeah. Would you care if I plugged a show that I'm getting ready to do either Thursday night or Friday night with Creator Madness?
Oh, I'd love to hear about that. Absolutely. You can plug whatever. Go ahead.
It's on drug addiction and mental health. And I don't want to give too much away, so I'll just say that. But it's, I don't know. We've been reading up on some really interesting things. So I think we're going to do it from my channel and his channel. We haven't discussed that far yet. I guess there's a way we can do both channels. I didn't know that. So yeah, it's either Thursday or Friday evening. So there'll be more details to come. It's still kind of premature.
Are you saying it's going to be simulcasted on both channels?
As far as I think so.
Who's running the stream? Is it you or him?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think we're doing it. I guess I'll be the main channel, but he's going to use his graphics and it's going to look like his channel on my channel. Does that make sense?
Yes. What I'm saying is that is he going to run the stream on his channel as well, or is it going to be just on your channel?
Yeah, I think he will. I guess it's a simulcast. I assume that's the way he's doing it. So yeah, we'll just have to see, because I know he doesn't have a lot of subscribers right now. So I offered we could do it on mine to kind of get him known too.
Absolutely. Yeah, he'll probably end up using OBS because if you're running the stream, then he can simulcast it with your permission through OBS, and it'll go out on his channel pretty much at the same time. So that's the way to do it. I'm sure he's got that figured out. But yeah, Lauren, if you can, as soon as that stream is up or that event's created, if you can share it in the Discord,
sure, I will.
And then that way, I could plan around that, because the last time when you went live, everyone went live, and like everyone was going everywhere, and so I definitely this is a very important topic. And I'd love to be there to support that. And then I can even actually further promote it on my other shows I do for the rest of this week. How does that sound?
That sounds awesome. I'm actually going to talk to him as soon as I hang up from you. So we'll figure it out.
Well, on that note, Lauren, thanks again for being here. Thank you to everyone in the chat for being here. Who knows? Maybe I'll be back later tonight. Maybe I won't for a brief impromptu just hangout chill stream. But if not, I'll see you folks tomorrow. With that being said, say goodbye to everyone, Lauren. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Bye. 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 Yeah. Yes. You can do it too.